There is a moment in every Champions League final when the world seems to stop blinking. In Munich, May 31st, 2025, it happened in the 12th minute. A skinny 19-year-old, jersey loose on his shoulders, slipped a pass through 4 intershirts with surgeon's precision. One heartbeat later, Achraf Hakimi slapped the ball into an empty net, and a stadium full of neutrals suddenly knew his name. Désiré Doué. Before the night was over, he'd added 2 goals of his own, collected the MVP trophy, and shattered a record untouched since Cristiano Ronaldo ruled Lisbon in 2014. But that's only the punctuation of a story that began on cracked asphalt in western France. Written by a kid whose very name was a prophecy. The desired, the gifted. And when he told Bayern Munich, "Neun," the old guard sharpened their knives. So how did a polite, anime-obsessed teenager hijack European football's spotlight in under 3 seasons? Anger sits on the Loire like a postcard. Medieval towers, sly river mist, and in 2005, a newborn with a destiny in 2 syllables. Désiré desired. Doué gifted. His Ivorian father, Patrice, had grown up juggling oranges on Abidjan sidewalks. His French mother, Claire, worked double shifts so her boys could keep fresh boots. Sundays meant family kickabouts so intense, they ended with chalk diagrams on the living room wall. Big brother Gala turned those drills into a pro career at Strasbourg. Cousins landed in Toulouse, Ponferradina, even the referee's whistle at a World Cup. The clan's unwritten motto? Le ballon ou rien. The ball or nothing. 6-year-old Désiré brought his own twist. After chores, he'd lay bricks in a zigzag, swap the match ball for a tennis ball, and weave through the obstacle course until dusk. Inside, he memorized Neymar compilations frame by frame, then practiced the celebrations in front of the bathroom mirror. Anime heroes, Naruto, Gone Freaks, Spike Spiegel, taught him that flair was nothing without discipline. By 2011, Stade Rennes scouts hunting for Gala's signature noticed the younger Doué pinging elastics past older kids and signed them both. At Rennes, coaches kept trying to measure him with normal yardsticks. Every time they moved the bar, he ducked under it and sprinted on. Under 10 captain at 9, match-winning free kick in a national tournament at 10, France U15, call-up by 14. They even flirted with turning him into a right-back. Teach him defensive discipline, they reasoned, until he trudged home one night and told his dad he hated football. Patrice marched to the academy and asked a single question. Would you cage a nightingale because it sings too loud? The experiment ended the next day. Désiré returned to the left wing, where his hesitation dribble and sudden gear shift started bending games like light through a prism. He swam upstream through age groups. Infantile to cadet, to U19s, U19s to first-team training before his 17th birthday. By then, he'd mastered a trademark pause. One extra heartbeat on the ball that yanked defenders off balance. Rennes staff called it le couteau lent, the slow knife. August 7th, 2022, Roajon Park. Opponent, Lorient. League 1 curtain raiser. 17-year-old Doué came on with 20 minutes left, tucked inside to pick up loose balls and left a ripple of raised eyebrows in the stands. 3 weeks later, against Brest, he sliced a shot inside the near post and became the first 2005-born player to score in Europe's top 5 leagues. Headlines wrote themselves. But the night he truly made the continent sit up was a rain-lashed Europa League tie versus Dynamo Kyiv, October 6th. Sent on in the 70th minute, he hunted a stray pass, glided past a defender as if skating on graphite, and side-footed home with his weaker left. At 17 years 4 months, he became the youngest Frenchman ever to score in European competition. Numbers for the season: 34 matches, 4 goals, 3 assists. Look modest until you remember half of those appearances came from the bench. What mattered was that hush before the storm feeling whenever the ball reached his boots. Still, teenage lightning attracts storm clouds. Bayern scouts kept appearing in the director's box. Premier League analytics teams flagged Doué as high priority, whispering bids north of 40 million euros. Rennes slapped on a sky-high release clause, wrapped their prodigy in cotton wool, and prayed. Paris 2024. Olympics, Thierry Henry's squad sparkled with young French gems, but even they deferred to Doué's gravity. Off the bench, he threaded through Spain's press, flipped games on their head, and left with a silver medal jangling by his heart. The camera caught him wiping away disappointed tears. Twitter caught the phrase he murmured, "On apprend plus dans la défaite." You learn more in defeat. That humility fanned transfer fever. Bayern dangled Leroy Sané's future as motivation. Chelsea offered a London penthouse. Manchester United flaunted shirt sales projections. Rennes answered with a new deal, a bigger role, and captaincy promises. Doué stayed calm, texting his agent one line, "Need minutes, not millions." But another suitor lurked with a different pitch. Paris Saint-Germain. August 3, 2024. Mbappé had finally departed, leaving the Parc des Princes humming with uncertainty. Sporting director Luis Campos flew to Rennes, slideshow in hand. Slide 1. Neymar highlights. Slide 2. A tactical sketch of a fluid front three. Barcola left, Dembélé right. Doué free to roam. Slide 3. A single sentence. "We don't need the next Mbappé, we need the first Doué." The offer: 50 million euros, 5 seasons, performance bonuses tied to pressing metrics and chance creation, not just goals. The family gathered in Angers that night. Patrice worried about Parisian distractions. Claire fretted over the tabloids. Désiré watched replays of Neymar's 2017 Elastico goal on loop, then said, "I want to learn where my idol learned." Contract signed by sunrise. Bayern's fax pinged an hour too late. August-October 2024. His League One debut versus Montpellier cameo at 3-0. 2 back heels that brought the park to its feet. A week later, away to Lille, he scooped a lofted assist for Gonzalo Ramos, first stat in red and blue. In Salzburg, his maiden Champions League goal came from a tight-angle curler. Celebration muted, hands pointing to the sky. Luis Enrique labeled him El Chico de Hielo, the Ice Kid, for how heart rate monitors showed barely a flutter in high-pressure minutes. Starter Bradley Barcola offered raw speed. Doué countered with tactical geometry and tireless recovery runs. Some fans called him too polite, too willing to defer. Yet every sub-appearance seemed to bend results. A pre-assist versus Brest, a key interception at Lyon, a 30-yard sprint to block a cross against Monaco that had Didier Deschamps nodding in the VIP seats. February. UCL round of 16 first leg saw him score a thunderbolt against Aston Villa, PSG's 3-1 cushion. March, domestic title in reach, he buried a right-footed missile versus Angers to clinch League One mathematically. April, Anfield quarter-final drama. After Liverpool's Harvey Elliott stunned Paris late in the first leg, Doué iced the decisive penalty in the shootout return. Shoulders relaxed, gaze level, side foot bang into side netting. Anfield finally heard silence. Coupe de France final. 2 quiet assists. No swagger. Just eyebrow-raised passes that left defenders spinning. It set the stage for Munich. And Munich. 12-minute assist, 20th minute deflected volley, 60th minute solo sprint. The anatomy of a 5-0 demolition of Inter. Commentators groped for superlatives. He jogged away with the match ball, cheeks crimson, voice shaking as he thanked his academy coaches on live TV. Season totals: 54 appearances, 15 goals, 16 assists, first treble in PSG history, youngest ever UCL final MVP. Cue fireworks across the Seine. 20 years old, silverware glinting, but legacy is iron that must be forged hot. The 2026 World Cup in North America looms, and France smells redemption after Qatar heartbreak. Doué is penciled on Deschamps' left wing. Ink really, unless injury intervenes. Whispers of a Ballon d'Or outside bet aren't wild fantasy if PSG retain the Champions League, and he stays decisive in finals. Yet the real test is monotony. Can he turn cold nights in Clermont into the same danse macabre he staged under Munich floodlights? Can he remain the desired, the gifted? Once desire becomes routine and gifts become expectations, Paris, for all its glamour, devours boy wonders who forget to evolve. So the question I leave you with is simple. Is Désiré Doué standing at the dawn of a dynasty, or merely dancing on the crest of a passing wave? Drop your verdict in the comments before the World Cup qualifiers kick off. And remember, history only feels inevitable after someone writes it.